that we worship Him, but He does not need it. He is free from all needs. We worship Him to connect with a greater picture. Something bigger than our anger, something bigger than our lust, something bigger than our greed. And this is the values that we will instill in the Watford Muslim Youth Centre. Now the Prophet Muhammad also taught us, as a matter of our faith, as was mentioned earlier by Brother Imran, that our charity does not decrease our wealth. This is an element of faith. I can't prove this to you. You know it yourself if you've given in the past. You know that every time you give, and you know the amazing thing about this? This is universal. This is not just known within the Muslim community. This is known in all communities. It is a perceived wisdom that has been gained through human experience. We know we are at our best when we are helping others. And we know that whenever we give, somehow, from somewhere, it comes back. Allah tells us in the Quran that when you give for His sake, He multiplies our wealth by an incalculable amount. But it's faith. It's that faith. Our Muslim youth are really, they're drowning, my brothers and sisters. And who will they look to? It's us. It's the elders, the businessmen, those of us who have bought our homes, who have our properties, who've established ourselves. It's those of us who have moved on. What are our youth going to do without our support? They can't build this centre. They need us. So today it's time for our leaders and our brothers and sisters to be counted. Be counted by Allah. Give a loan to the one who owns the heavens and the earth. And build this next generation of the best Muslims who will be ambassadors for our faith, ambassadors for our communities. But it starts with that iman, that difficult hand. And that first hand, and we're starting today at £20,000. To see, is there someone here? Look, I know most of us in this room, we can't give away £20,000. Most of us will be struggling to give a fraction of that. But there are some that Allah blessed with that ability. And the rest of us are envious. We're envious. We dream of being able to give away tens of thousands in charity. But we can't. Most of us can't. Allah didn't give most of us that blessing, that opportunity for reward. But there are some of us who have that ability. And Brother Imran, perhaps this is where I will invite you to join me, as you are somebody who knows the community very well. I'm not expecting you to start pointing people out and taking financial commitments from them. But that first hand, my brothers and sisters, is a special hand. And I know, as somebody who fundraises up and down the country, that hand is often the most difficult hand in the room. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he recognized that. When he stood, just like I did, he was a fundraiser. And he stood fundraising to his companions and asking them for donations. And he waited, and one companion came and he placed treasure on the floor at the feet of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And he smiled, Rasulullah. Is that a hand? Alhamdulillah. We have our first hand at £20,000. Now, for those non-Muslim guests, don't get scared. It's not ISIS thing, right? When we say takbir, right? Takbir, and the response just means God is great. And God is great. Takbir! Oh, alhamdulillah. We have our first hand. This project is ongoing. If you're a businessman, if you're somebody, a family, if you have that money in a savings account somewhere, give it as a loan for the sake of Allah. Lend it for the sake of Allah. We're taking kind of the hasana as well. Yes, you can donate that money, but if you just want to loan it to this project, loan it for now. Rather than sitting in a bank account, loan that money to this project, inshallah. They will pay you back. Have that iman today, that faith, the faith of our uncle, Dr. Jitwan. That is the power of faith. One of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ said such an amazing thing about faith, particularly when it came to charity. He said, none of you truly believe. Imagine if I came up here today and said, none of us believe, none of us have faith, all of us are imposters. I would never say that. Yet this companion stood in front of the companion and said, none of you truly believe until your faith in Allah is stronger than the faith of what we see in our hands. We see our savings and feel secure. We see our business results, we feel secure. We see the value of our property, we feel safe and secure. That's not tawakkul. That's not iman. Iman is the belief that Allah gave me that property. Allah gave me that business. Allah gave me those savings. And Allah is the one who has promised to replace it when I give it away to help other people. Not myself, to help others. So you've had one hand at 20,000. Dare I ask, is there somebody else here today who can push to that amount? 20,000. Break it down over a year if you want. I believe it's about £1,600 a month over a year. Do we have a second hand? If not, I'm going to move down. And I'm going to move down, I believe, to half of that amount, roughly about 10,000, inshallah. But we'll ask one more time. Is there someone who can lend us £20,000 from their account, inshallah, with a contract from the Watford Muslim Youth Centre to repay it on due terms? Or is there someone who can break it down over a year, pay it at £1,600 a month, tax deductible, of course, from our businesses, mashallah? Okay, then I'm going to move it down. I'm going to move it down to half of that amount, to £10,000. And we're going to see whether there's someone here, and the same offer, if you wish to loan that money, sitting in an account, benefiting nobody, just a sense of security, it sits there, or lend it to this project. Let the roof come on, let the doors come on, let the windows go in, let the youth see what we are doing for them. Lend that money, it's 10,000. And of course, if you wish to give it over a year, it's about £800 a month. Do we have a first hand here today for our youth, for the sake of Allah, to build this vision? Do we have a first hand in the room at £10,000? Anyone who will start us off at 10,000? And I know it's hard, and I know most of us can't give that, and we'll come down to amounts that everybody can give something. Even if you just want to give £5, £10 a month, everyone can give something, inshallah. But we do look to our leaders. We look to those that Allah blessed in a different way to how He blessed the rest of us. Do we have a hand at £10,000? We have a hand, alhamdulillah. Can we have a round of applause? It's a second hand now, mashallah, at £10,000. We're chipping away at our £150,000 target. Do we have a second hand at one hand at 20, one hand at 10? Do we have a second hand in the room at £10,000? Now remember, someone say yes? Oh, he's saying yes to something else. Oh, I got excited there. Alhamdulillah. You know, there is a brother that I know. He's actually in this room. He's in this room, and I'm not going to point him out because he doesn't want to be pointed out. He made a commitment for £5,000 recently at an event that I was at. And he came up to me. He said, Brother Rahim, he said, I haven't got £5,000. He said, I earn £35,000 a year. I work for the local authority. He lives in London, earns £35,000 a year. That is not easy with a family. He said, but I know I can give £400 this month. And he said, I've done a deal with Allah. Allah has promised to replace my wealth. He said, I've made an intention for 5,000, but only if Allah keeps replacing that £400 in my bank account. So I'll give £400 this month. He said, next month, I don't know what I'll give. But if Allah gives me back that 400, I'll give it again. And in March, I don't know what I'll give. But if Allah replaces it, I will give it again. He put his trust in Allah, that Allah will replace his wealth. By Allah, he is on his 26th month now of paying that £400 a month. He said to me, I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to stop while Allah keeps replacing my wealth. But that's Iman. I can't prove that to you. But wallahi, he's here today. So do we have anyone, a second hand at £10,000 from our leaders, from our supporters, those who support us in the past? Do we have that? If not, we'll move it down, inshallah. My last ask for a second hand at £10,000. It's £800 a month or a loan, Kharda Hasana. Do we have that hand? If not, we're going to move it down, inshallah. Okay, we're going to move it down to half that amount again. This is that 5,000. So, alhamdulillah, we had a hand at 20, we had a hand at 10. And we're now going to look for a hand at £5,000. Again, beyond the reach of most of us. Beyond the reach of most of us. But for some of us, Allah gave us that ability without losing sleep. We don't have to downgrade the holiday plans. We don't have to sell the house or remortgage. We don't have to part exchange the car to give that. It's just a number in an account. Give that account in the bank of Allah. It's £100 a week over the next year. Like my friend did, £400 a month, £5,000 a year. So we're looking for our first hand today. We have our first hand. Can we have a round of applause, please? Our first hand at £5,000. And a brother I recognise from his previous generosity here, mashallah. Allah accept it from him. Do we have a second hand at £5,000? A second hand in the room. We've had a hand at 20, a hand at 10, a hand at 5. Do we have a second hand at £5,000? Take that pledge. See what happens when you make an intention to give that money, inshallah, over a period of a year. Placing your trust that Allah will repay.